Hey guys, so I'm back with another video. So in this video, I will be going through the options menu in the Microsoft Flight Simulator. So sit back, relax, and we'll get into the video after the intro.
Order 129, left heading 090, descend to maintain 3000. Left heading 090, descend to maintain 3000, Porter 129. Number 4518, speed 210, then maintain 4000.
210, then down to 4,000.
Going to 45, fly heading 095, runway 10 right, clear for takeoff.
Okay guys, so after you load in, you will see options on your top left next to profile. So when you click on options, you'll see general options, assistant options, and control options. So in this video, I will try cover every part of these. So I'll first start off with general options. So in general options, you could see your graphics in the first tab. So as you've seen, graphics, it's really it goes in big detail on how you want your flight sim to look. It really depends on your specs that you have on your PC or laptop or anything. But let's say, for example, you put this to ultra, like everything to ultra, then it would really affect your FPS. So I say you play around with it and see if what it's good for you. So as you can see, display mode, I set on full screen. You can see full screen resolutions. So as you can see here, it says like 1920 by 1080. That just depends on your monitor, on how it looks. So as you can see here, you could 1920. You could like mess around with it, like move it around. As you can see here, like, but 100 for me, I keep it as 100 because that's like what I have here. And then here it has advanced settings, and in advanced settings, this is when it gets really in big detail. So you can see here, terrain level of detail, off-screen terrain, pre-catching, and on and on and on. So here, I wouldn't want to mess with it because it would really affect your game. If you want the highest performance, and if you have like a very good, powerful PC, then I say you go like ultra. If you want the very good, like 4K experience, like if you want it to look very good. So in camera, the next one is camera. Camera, I wouldn't say really change it that much because it doesn't really it's not that important in the game. So, but as you can see, global settings, camera selection, quick view function, smart camera, zoom function, focus mode. So here, like zoom function, I keep it on manual, so then I could manually fix my zooming. So smart camera, I put it on hold. Quick view function, I put it on hold as well. And camera selection, cockpit. So what that does, camera selection, is that when you first spawn in the plane, it would put you in the cockpit. But if I set it, for example, to like outside view, then it would be to the outside view when you first spawn in. So you can see cockpit camera selection, wide angle, that's what I keep it on. Then it gets like kind of weird here, that's with your like cockpit camera. And then you have chase camera. So this, I don't like really think you should mess with it because it could really like mess with your game. So after that you have sound. In the sound you have main device output selection, communication device output selection, and then this headphone simulation, if it's on off, it's really if you want that really like you're in the flight simulator and you have like, and you put your headphones on when you're in the cockpit, it kind of like dims down like the engine noise and all the background noise, and it helps you listen to ATC. I keep that on headphone simulation. I always keep that on because I really want that like real life simulation. So warning sounds, an external view. I would say it's really important, because if you have like your left engine is on fire or something, and you're in the external view, then you can always hear it. Or like if your left landing gear isn't coming down, then you could hear it in the external view. And active spatial odd sound, I keep that on off because it doesn't really affect me when I have my headphones on and I turn it on. So yeah. ATC text to speech settings, you can turn it off or offline or easier. It kind of like adjusts the quality of how the like people talk in ATC. And easier, it's like kind of only available when you're connected to the internet. Music selection, I put it color 1, and here you have volume levels. For me, volume levels, I always keep like the rest open, but music, I always turn it off, because like sometimes it can annoy me, and I also turn it off when I'm in a video because I could get copyright strikes. And then in the traffic, your next one, you see real time. And then in real time, you can't really like change the AI traffic density, because that you can only change it in AI. You can like mess with it, but for example, if you put it like 45, then it would still stay 45, but I like putting it 100, and then you see when it's off you can't change it either. So I like to keep it on real time online. And then show traffic nameplates, it kind of shows you like the people around you. If you cannot like see them from like, for example, their plane lights, then you could see from their like nameplates. So airport life, here you can see ground aircraft density, airport vehicle density, worker density. So this, it kind of like shows how realistic you want like the workers in the airport to be, like how realistic you want the ground aircraft to be. Like for example, your ground power unit, your pushback tug. And then you see aircraft vehicle density, it's how like realistic you want the aircraft to look. I keep it on 50 because the higher you put it, the more it will affect your FPS. So if you want it max and you want it to be like as realistic as you want, if you're like that type of person that wants the full realism part of the flight simulator, then I say you go for it, put 100 on everything here. And land and sea traffic, it's like boats, road vehicles, ships. I keep this on 100 because like it doesn't really affect my game, but it just makes it look like a little touch better. But as it's the same as like airport life, the higher you put it, the more it will affect your game FPS. Here you can see AI and multiplayer traffic detail. You can see use generic plane models when your Wi-Fi isn't working well. Then you could have it like it uses different planes when you're on AI traffic, and also multiplayer when it's on multiplayers for generic plane models. Then it would show on your screen the different types of airplanes that other people are using. Here you can see traffic variety. It adjusts the different aircraft models used in randomly generated air traffic. And then here you can see under traffic, you can see data, online functionality. I keep all of this on, so then it kind of like makes like the online like part of the flight simulator. Here you can see data consumption. Here, if you want to like set it like a limitation, then you can turn it on and you can set how much gigabytes you want it to spend, like your limit. So for example, if you set it to like 6, not 60, for example, you set it to 6, Then the max gigabytes so it could use is 6. And then I don't know why data warning isn't working, but it would show, like, for example, if you wanted 3 gigabytes, then it would show 3 gigabytes. When you're at 3 gigabytes, it would like warn you. So I keep this on 0, so then it doesn't like delete any stuff. So, and I always keep it off. Bandwidth, it's like if you have like very bad Wi-Fi, then it will, and you have it unlimited, you could set it to 5 megabytes or 20 or 40 or unlimited. I set it on unlimited. It kind of is about how good or bad your Wi-Fi is. But for example, if you're like, you can't really have like, if you don't have good Wi-Fi, then you can set it to, for example, like 20. So then it doesn't like take that much Wi-Fi from your internet connection. But I set it as unlimited. Rolling cache settings, this part I don't really understand in the flight simulator. If any of you guys understand it, then please comment down below in the comment section. It would be very appreciated. So in the flight model, you can see modern or legacy. Legacy is like, you can mess around with like your global presets, your generals, crash, realism, gyro, but I say you keep it on modern because that's like really easy for you. MISC is like language and your unit of measurement in like what country you want. Metric system, hybrid, US system, like it shows different systems kind of. And then here's your avatar. When you go out of, when you like go in the outside view, then you can see like your cockpit, and you look into your cockpit, you can see like your pilot and your co-pilot. And also when you're in the cockpit as well, you can see the avatar, I'm pretty sure. Then here you can see your instructor and like planes that need instructors. Then here you have like your legal, your credits for the Xbox version. Like if you want to see the credits for the flight simulator, then here you can see it, and here's like copyright and legal information. So in accessibility, you can see enable screen narrator. So if for example you don't have really good eyesight, then you can turn it on, and then like when like data. You can see it button. When I put it over data.
Flight model.
See?
Miscellaneous button.
So you can see there like the volume. I like to keep it off because I don't have eye problems. If you do have eye problems, then I'd advise you to turn on. So here you can see user interface. Minimum text size is how big you want the text to be, as well if you also have bad eye problems, but I like to keep at 18. Here you can see interface scale. This I don't really know what it does, but I'm pretty sure like changes how it looks. Yeah. Oh my god. Okay, there we go. There it is, right here. That's good. I think that's like zooming. And then here you can see cockpit instruction system, menu tool tips, instruction name tool tips, and then it goes like background opacity. I think it's like the background, like here you can see a plane. So I think if you like, oh, that's like for this. So you can see main color. I like to keep on default because I don't really like any. And this, it's also for if you have like eye problems, if you're like colorblind or something, then you could change it. But I like to keep on default. Here you can see menu animations. I keep that on. Subtitles, I turn it off. And skip pre-flight cinematics, I turn it off as well. Controller vibrations, I keep it. I don't know why it's 100%. The flight sim probably picked that, but It's like, for example, if you're on an Xbox and you want it to like your controller to vibrate a lot, then you can set it to like 100, or if you don't want it, like 50 or 0%. Here, cursor settings, you could, if you set it to like the max, then you can see like it moves very quick. But I keep it on to 7 because that is how I like it. I don't really want it that fast. Here you can see developers. In developer mode, when you turn it off, it like kind of, when it's off, it should usually be off. And then when you turn it on, you can see like this whole part. Here in developers, it's actually quite cool. You can make like your own runways and your own airports. But what I found really useful in the developer mode is windows. Here, if you want to like change your plane, but you don't want to leave the game, you click aircraft selector, and then you could like type in your plane, like 747 or 777 or like any plane you have. And then here you could also mess up with like your camera, and you can have slew modes, which on keyboard you click Y, and then you could control around with it with your number pad. If you have a number pad, then you could control with it with that, but if you don't, I don't really know how to control it. Then you have tools, options, pause simulation. It's like if you see on the top part when you're in a flight, you have like pause button. That's pretty much what it's for. In the options menu, here you can see, and then you have display FPS. When you click that, you can see your FPS, but it really distracts me, so I don't think you should have it on. But I keep it closed. So after you have VR mode, if you have like a VR headset, then you could click switch to VR, and then it would look like you have a VR headset. It would look like you're in like VR world in the flight simulator, and it shows like your settings for the VR. So that's the general options. So also, I forgot to say, whenever you like change your settings in the flight sim and you like don't apply it and save it, it'll always show you didn't save your changes. Do you want to apply it and save it before leaving? You click Discord, cancel, apply and save. I click apply and save. And then after that, you see assistant options. So in your assistant options, you can see aircraft system, failure, navigation, navigation aids, failure and damage, sorry, navigation aids, notifications, piloting, POI, user experience. So here you can see I set it on custom, but if you want to, you could set it, as you can see here, all assist, middle ground, true to life. If you want it true to life, it kind of like gives you that very like good experience in the flight simulator. Like if you want to be like a pilot in the future, I would say you choose true to life, but I put true to life, and then I just kind of like mess around with like my navigation and with like POI and user experience and piloting, because there are some stuff that I want to change. So but it's really up to you. So in the aircraft systems, you can see auto mixture, unlimited fuel, aircraft lights, gyro drifts. Since I set mine to true to life, it automatically sets it to hard. So auto mixture, it's off. Unlimited fuel, I turned it off. When you have unlimited fuel, usually when you spawn in the flights, you start off with 50% fuel and you don't really lose fuel. That's if you have unlimited fuel on. But I choose it off because it gives me like that very fun experience on when I'm like long haul flights and I only have 50% fuel. Then I could go like emergency landing and blah blah blah. So here you can see aircraft lights. If you want them to be activated automatically, then you turn that on or off. I set it off. Gyro drift, I turn that on. Failure and damage, it's like whenever you crash or anything, or like your engine stresses or your aircraft stresses or like your wings bend too much, then it wouldn't show a like crashing effect because Microsoft doesn't like want to show other planes broken. So it would just show like a menu on how I would put a picture up on the screen right here. It would show like how it looks like. You'd see return back to menu or like restart. So in navigation aids, I usually set it to hard and then I changed it a bit. So taxi ribbon, when you have your taxi ribbon, it's like when you're taxiing and it guides you to your gates. So here you can see landing path. It kind of makes a square, not a square but like a rectangle, and it shows you like on your approach, and it shows if it's red then you're too fast, if it's red then you're too slow as well. But if it's like kind of like this same bluish color, then that means you're like perfect. Smart cam mode, I put that to manual. If I could like change my camera by itself. So after that you can see notifications. I don't really change notification because it's not like really that important. And here you can see like software tips, objectives, flying tips, aircraft systems, pilot and control notifications. I set it to hard, but it's really if you're new to the flight simulator and you don't know like that much about how to use it, then you can set it to easy, which would set it all on, but I like to set it on hard. Piloting, I set on custom because I changed it. The easiest way for me is I set this on hard, and then I just turned AI radio communications on to like auto, and then the rest I like turned it off. And then POI, you can see landmarks, city markers, aircraft markers, airport map markers, Fiona markers, display directions to chosen POI. This it like displays, like it shows directions on how to go to your like airport or something. And then if you click this, all of these should turn on, but it wouldn't show here. And then user experience, you can see like a lot of stuff. Here you can see ATC UI panel, open at start, show message log and ATC menu. ATC voices, I keep that on to have like a more realistic factor in the flight simulator. Checklist UI panel, open and start. VFR map, a UI, open and panel, open at start. Navigation log panel, open at start. It usually just like shows a lot of stuff that not really that much people use because it's kind of useless. But G effect, it's like if you're going at like high G's, then it would kind of like it would show like if you set it to jet pilot or like civil aviation pilot or off. I set it on jet pilot, so then when I'm like going at extreme G's, like flying fighter jets, then it doesn't like black out, because that could happen. But when you're going at extreme G's, then you could kind of hear like the pilot breathing like really loud when you're in the first person view, or even if you're in external view. G suit, I keep that on. And flight when aircraft shuts down, so when you shut down your engines, then it'll shut down like automatically. I put that on. So that's assistant options. So as you can see, if you changed anything, it'll show this already. Apply, then you click that, and then you go out of assistant options. Now you have controls options. It is very, very complicated. Here you can see for example, this is my yoke here, and then I have my keyboard, my mouse. But I say you just try get a yoke, because it's really easy for you to fly around. So as you can see, this is the yoke I have, the TCA A320 yoke. Here you can see camera. I'll control it from like these buttons. So for example, and I could like, if you have a yoke, you could just, for example, leave this. I could click on the third button, this button right here, like a small black dot, and then it can exit. But I just use like my mouse to show it. Here, landing gear. To put my landing gear down, I use joystick number 8. You can set it if you want like to put your landing gear down, you click number 8, and then to put it up, you use like your number 7, like you start scanning number 7. You can see this is already binded somewhere else for my brakes. I set that as my brakes. But it's not really like that important. You can just set as one bind and it's way easier. So here you have power management, throttle. I use it with this, as you can see here. So reverse axis, I set it on, because if you set it off, and it's like when you move your throttle axis up, then it'll go slower, and if you move it down, then it'll go faster. Now if you set it to reverse axis, then if you move it up, it will go fast. When you move it down, it'll go slow. So you have after power management, you have autopilot. I use my 4th button. It's like a red circle. As you can see here, it's like number 1 and 2. So on my yoke, I have like this button. That's like kind of what fighter pilots have to like shoot. Like as you can see right here. That's like the button. Then above it, there's like another small button. That's the 2nd button. So I have like this long one button that's number 1, and the one on top of it is number 2, and then it goes that black dot, and then 4. So after that, you have your brakes, toggle parking brake, brakes. You toggle parking brake, it's like your parking brake. So brakes, I use them when I land, but parking brake I use it when I park. So flight control surfaces, primary control surfaces, you can see rudder, you can see right there. Elevators, you can see like that. Ailerons, you can see turn left, turn right. And if you remove the reverse, then if you turn left, if you move your joystick to the right, I mean, then it'll turn the plane left. If you move it to the right, then it'll turn the plane left. If you turn it to the left, then it'll move your plane right. But I keep on reverse because it's like way easier. So as you can see here, your rudder, your elevator, and your ailerons. As you see, control timing surfaces. If you want your trim to go up, I use 6 and 9 because they're both like 6 is on the bottom and 9 is on the top, so they're like very close numbers, so it's really easy. Because as you can see here, it goes 1, 2, and then 3, 4. You can see 5, 10, 6, 9, 7, 8, 14, and then blah. But I like to keep them so then like the one on the top, one on the bottom, because they're very easy for me to control with. Toggle spoilers. That's for me 13, and then flaps 10 to increase it. To decrease it, I use 5, my 5th button. And then that's flight control surfaces, and the camera is, you can see, toggle smart camera is button number 1. When you turn it, when you have it for like whatever button you bind it with, then it would show like your closest airport or your closest POI that you're close to. Here you can see reset cockpit view. I use number 2. Previous pilot position, joystick POV down, so I move like it down. As you can see, next pilot position, I move it up, and then cockpit quick view right, I move like, as you can see here, it's like you see that little black circle. That's what it's talking about. So as you can see, previous flight position, I move it down. So you can see it highlights down. Next pilot position, up, I move it up. Cockpit quick view right, I move it right. Same thing here, move it left. After that, you have external camera. It's kind of the same with the pilot. In the cockpit, you can see it like that. Instrument views, left, right. Camera mode switches, I use button 3. Now with your, when you buy your, what's it called? Your yoke, the yoke I could like change how it looks. So I could have like, for example here you can see that red circle. For me, that red circle is on this side. And then that black dot I have it on this side because I changed it around. So for me, button 3, I use, it's like that black circle. And then here, flight control surfaces. No, oh, we already went over that, sorry. So that's all of that part. So you can see mouse, your mouse settings. If you don't have a yoke, then you can see how to change it. Your camera. Then you can see your keyboard binds. And how you can see how to put your landing gear down with your keyboard. So that's the control surfaces. So as you can see there, so that what I was talking about before. So yeah, guys, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will obviously be doing my next video. I'll be making the world map. I'll be explaining how the world map works. So thank you guys very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and to smash that bell. And I'll see you guys next video. Goodbye.